Good evening. I am Cynthia Harrison, your Mystic Medicine Woman. This is the Intuitive Energy Medicine Power Readings and Mystical Musings for Monday, 6 p.m. every week. Today, we are going to be speaking about, while I wait for questions or comments. Hey, Murray. I have been doing a lot of higher activations, I suppose you would call them. So I wanted to bring in something for you all that is really simple, but also healing, and also will assist you to get to your higher triangles or higher intuition. And so that's what I was thinking, but we never know where we're going to go or what questions are going to be asked. So how are you going, Murray? What's been happening since last week? Anything exciting? Anything unexciting? Anything bizarre? Anything you want to share? So I'm just going to let people know that we are here.
Last week.
Whoa, sorry about that.
Exciting? Anything?
So I'm just going to share with, I don't want to do that. So welcome. Yeah. Pineal, Pituitary, Hypothalamus. I think we'll talk about that in a moment. And some of the work. Can't remember anything memorable. Well, you know what? Miracles don't need to be memorable. You have millions of them every day. You wake up, it's a miracle. You get up, it's a miracle. You can move around, it's a miracle. You breathe in, you breathe out, it's a miracle. It's not necessarily memorable, but they're miracles. So I always say that I have an expectation of having numerous miracles every single day. So when you change what you see as a miracle, your world pretty much changes, the perception. So this multitasking is what gets me every week, is that I need to share, to tell people that I'm here. But I want to share to groups, not to individuals. So here we go. This is the right page, right? So hopefully some more people come on. And I'll just put it to my news feed. And I'm sort of excited about what we're going to talk about. So Murray's saying I just get to the same routine. Well, maybe we could talk about that today. Yeah, we'll talk about that. So we're going to share to you, and we're going to share to you. Who else? Who else could we share to? Sometimes I share to the wrong groups by accident, so I apologise if I share to groups that I shouldn't be sharing to, because I just do it really quickly, and I think that'll probably do. So who we got? It's just you and I still, Murray? That's fine. If it is, we can have a conversation. People usually watch the replays anyway. Who else? I think that'll probably do. Okay, so just turn my heater off. It's so hot in here now. Okay. let me just share to Jennifer. She's usually here, and Kath, and Diane is usually here too. Who else? Linda. That'll do. All right, let's get into it. Or is there anything you want to talk about, Murray? Doesn't need to be what I want to talk about. I was going to do the biofield today, but it's just a pain in the butt to set up. So I will endeavour to do it next week, all right? And my finger's still sore, you still see. I won't show you because it's a bit disgusting, but it's healed up really, really well. I have my heart selenite with me here tonight. So I've literally been carrying around selenite just in my hand to heal my finger. It's worked marvelously. So, okay, we're starting to get some people on, so welcome, welcome. I do really want to take you through feeling into your own glands within the head, the major glands. So the pineal and pituitary especially, but the hypothalamus and even the liver neurovasculars, just to help you feel into those. And it is actually an energy medicine process, but like I said before, when we were just starting, I've been doing a lot of major gland work on myself, like literally 3 hours a day. So, you know, I don't do anything in halves. So it's my Rhombus Healing Arts Cup. Only 2 in the world. This is one of them. Hi, Cass. Okay. There's a few people coming on, so say hi. Ask you questions. That's what I'm here for. But, you know, if there aren't any questions or you prefer to listen to some musings, some mystic musings, I'm happy to do that too. So let's have a chat while we wait for people to come on and ask their questions or comment about how their world's been going or anything like that. Let's see if I can get a full page. Can't. Okay, fine, we'll stay here. All right. So let's have a chat then. I've got a few people on. So please ask your questions. I cannot do readings well, I can. We'll see what I pick up. And when we do this activation, it's not an activation as such. I mean, if you're wanting third eye activations or higher level activations, contact me. It's my specialty. It's what I do. It's the core of my work, is evolving the human systems. So there are many ways to do that. But this process that will sort of pepper through tonight's call is something that you can just do to check in. It's not necessarily an activation. It's more to get particular points in the head. So like I said, the hypothalamus, the pituitary and the pineal, and the liver neurovasculars, which are at the hair line, but they impact what's called the triple axis and help metabolize the hormones. So whether you're a male or a female, because, you know, hormones are what assist us to live well, right? So it's not all about women's issues. They're the carriers of information, like energy. So we need that flow. But these points also link to meridian systems or energetic systems on another level. So I just thought I would share some info. And you can ask your questions. So just jump in. You don't, if I'm telling a story, please still ask your question or whatever's coming up for you, and we'll get to them at some point. So Murray's saying, I've got a spot on the forehead, so I don't know if anything special. And Kath's saying, hey, you've got a spot on your forehead. You don't know if it's anything special. A spot on your forehead. Okay, that's an interesting way of explaining that. So we'll feel into that in a moment, Murray, and just see. But if you think about, so intuition, so I'm here to do intuitive energy medicine power readings, right? And mystic musings. So the mystical musings are mini minor teachings peppered through while we wait for information. Maybe some weeks they're exactly what you want to hear. Other weeks you might think, what on earth is she talking about? Sometimes when you have no idea what I'm talking about, it's possible that it is especially for you. So feel into it rather than hearing what I'm saying. Just feel into it, because sometimes the mind can't grasp what I'm talking about, but your soul can. So the soul is never born. The soul never dies. It's continuous, right? So we are never, the truest sense of who we are is neither born or dies. We're eternal. We're continuous. Okay. So just making sure I'm scrolling to see kind of central. Yeah, well, that's, so Murray, that's, yeah, where you, there's a couple of points I talk about. Hi, Vicky. Welcome, Vicky. So you hear me talk about, and I've got my little whiteboard here, you hear me talk about these triangles all the time, or these grids. And I often talk about the human as the animalistic tendencies, or the lower density consciousness. I'll just put my phone up here so I can see the questions as well. And those animal chakras or centers are like the sex organs or the navel, and the higher human centers are the heart and throat. I've talked about these before. Thanks for the heart, Vicky. Yay. I love hearts. Love hearts. Okay. So, all right, let's get into it. We have basically the 3 levels of intuition, and we're all born, I've talked about this before, but I'll keep talking about it, of what we're born with is that real animalistic sense of fight, flight, freeze. All right, good, we've got some questions coming in. And, whether to run or not. Real basic intuition. Everybody has that. That's the lower triangle. And then we go to the upper triangle. So lower density consciousness is from the hips to the navel, okay? I'll draw it in a moment. Higher consciousness is from the navel, so the heart, throat, so the shoulders, okay? So really that's the mid-intuition. And then we have the higher, or the divine intuition, or divine, or intellect, so to speak. And that's the third eye, or that, the crown center, so the pineal and pituitary. And these are the parts that we are incorporating for our evolution process, our basic evolution process as a human being, or Homo sapien sapien to Homo spiritus or Homo luminous, right? We're on an evolutionary trajectory, and these are the parts that we want to activate for our intuitive intelligence, right? So to get this intuitive intelligence, we have to create enough pressure to turn emotions or to shift emotions. And it's an implosive energy. And I talked about it last week a little bit about the heart and the implosive mechanism of turning the inside out. So that toroidal spin. This is a different way of talking about that. And it's at a higher center, but it still has the effect of creating what's internal to external. So I'm just going to check. Okay, Kath, kidneys, very important, especially, I'm going to say especially for you because I know what you're working with. Yes, I will show you tonight. So remind me if I don't, how to work that life force energy, because the kidney energy is just that. It's the life force energy or aspect of the life force energy. And it's really important when you're on that, on the path and you're really working with those high energies, which you are, okay? So we need to be making sure that our nervous system is looked after. And that's why I talk about the nervous system a lot in spiritual development, because it's doing so much work. But we want it to be doing this work using these higher centers, and then these higher centers then direct the lower centers. And left to their own devices, the lower centers are what direct you. Okay? You hear me always talking about being the director of my life. And what we want to do is have these higher centers directing the lower. So it's an overlay of information from a higher perspective. So that's why it's intuitive intelligence, so to speak. Is this interesting? Are you into this? Let me know. Give me some feedback, or say something, or give me a heart or a thumbs up. Okay, so I've got a big question here. I'll scroll up. And so Vanessa, is there a lot of dimensions with the heart and learning with emotions and allowing, acknowledging and accepting? Let me read that again, because I read things on different levels. Okay, so is there lots of dimensions within the heart? Yes. And learning with emotions and allowing, acknowledging and accepting. All right. So what are you really asking me? So Vanessa, there are lots of dimensions. I feel like you're, so there are multiple dimensions or frequencies at every level, at every energy center. We talked about this in some of the other calls. Oh, what was that? Let me see. Oh, not sure. Anyway, there's a big ding. So the answer, Vanessa, is yes, from what you've said there. There are lots of dimensions. There are numerous sparks of light or points within the heart. So it's not just one massive big heart awakening. It's multiple awakenings of these different points of light. And we've got the higher soul heart, which is at the thymus, which in my direct experience of my heart awakening was separate. It was one of the later activations, and it was so intense it nearly blew me off my feet. So I hope that sort of gave you a little bit of information. So yeah, let me know if that was covering what what you were asking, because that's sort of what it felt like. It's about purity of love. I could talk about purity of love all the time, which is to do with this. Like, we can't get to that purity of love until we've moved. I'm talking about this on a more physiological level. I'm trying to bring it down to earth a little bit more than I usually do, right? So I'm going physically, we've got these animal instincts, and that's because our lower chakras are our survival and our sex organs, right? To navel, lower density consciousness. But as we do our work, as we do our practice, energy is not created or destroyed, right? Energy is not created or destroyed. When I work with your energy, I'm transforming it. It is the law of thermodynamics, right? We can't destroy the energy. So this might relate to you, Vanessa. If we have depression or anxiety or anger, it can't be destroyed. It can only be transformed. It's energy. Everything is energy, is a simplistic way of saying it, but sometimes we just got to be general. So if everything is energy, we're just looking at the density of that energy, and we're shifting it either way. I mean, I'm not going to say it's always one way. You might not want it that way, because too much energy in a meridian, for instance, creates pain. So an over energy is too much pain. It creates congestion and pain. So, but ultimately, what we're talking about is transforming. Okay. So Kath's got aches in her kidney area the last few days. Just reminds me that there's been earthquakes in Australia yesterday, and that just came in when I was thinking about you. So, I mean, I know you're not in West Australia. We had earthquakes here yesterday. That's why my pictures fell off the wall when I was on yesterday's teaching on art as medicine. I'm not sure if any of you saw that, but anyway, pictures fell off the wall as I was doing that teaching because there was earthquakes here. So there's particular energy going on. But Kath, if there's pain, it's excess of energy, right? So excess can create congestion, or so if you've got a lot of energy in your heart, for instance, but you haven't worked your higher centers, then it's going to create like a bottleneck, and then you can get, I'm just going to use, for want of a better word, issues with your higher centers. So you want to be making sure that everything's in flow. You've got symmetry. So we talked about that with the biofield viewer, that we want symmetry of our bodies, of our energies, so that there is more flow, more vibrancy, more frequency, more illumination, ultimately. So let me get back. I feel like I've sort of gone off a bit. So we're transforming energy. So therefore, that depression or that anxiety or whatever emotion it is, we need something or a powerful mechanism to transform it into that illumination or that light or that angelic type of presence of intuitive insightfulness. So this activating into the higher triangle that I'm talking about, the higher grid of the human body, is how we do that, is your guiding light. It produces that, okay, I just saw another question, I'll get to it in a moment. It produces your personal GPS, and that's what directs your soul. So you've heard me and you see me, I do this all the time. I'm like, your third eye is or where I sit here between the brow, it's directing, and I'm guiding my vehicle. I'm driving my vehicle from here. So my center brain and my third eye is connecting with my heart and my wisdom point. But basically, they're coming to one point, and it's like a laser, and that's where I drive from. So that activation of the higher guiding light, or your GPS, is basically what guides your soul, or the soul. Like I said, the soul's never born, never dies. It's what's eternal. Everything else is temporal or impermanent, right? The soul is eternal. So let's see what Kath said. I've also felt a tug of energy on my feet, literally laying in bed. Of course. Okay, Kath. The kidney meridian runs from the ball. I'm going to get my whiteboard. Hang on. I've got a mini one. I got me a mini one. I'm going to draw this because it's exactly what I got when you said the first question, right? So it's fine. You're exactly where you need to be. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So there's hang 5. Okay. Yeah. Hang 5. The kidney meridian. So this is the sole of the foot. Kidney meridian starts here. That's K1, kidney 1, the first point of the kidney meridian. It ends here at just under the collarbone. There's your bony bit here. And if you just drop your fingers, most people have a little dent. It's like a little hollow where your finger just fits in there perfectly. If you push in there, Kath, or any of you, if you just push in there, give it a rub. If they're tender, then your kidney energy needs some work, it needs some love, right? You can thump it. And I'm not tapping it lightly. You can hear it, can't you? Okay. So that's one of the energy tools that I teach. It's like basically, I'm sorry, I'm going to put this here. Hopefully it's still loud enough. And my finger's sore, so I can't bend that. I actually can't bend that finger because I cut it last week, as most of you know. Right? But the actual physical kidneys, which are, at the back, your adrenals actually sit, well, Kath, because you're a nurse, but your adrenals sit just at the top of the kidneys, okay? But energetically, there's other stuff going on. When we're getting surges of energy, ouch, I bet. All right, so Kath, I'm going to give you, I'm going to make a note of this. So thanks for saying that. I'll send you some information because I don't want to go into your full personal stuff, but just to assist you where you're at, because full disclosure, we work together, so I know what's going on with your energy in a different way. Knowing that, it's perfectly fine. It's part of the process, but boy, does it hurt. So there are things that you can do to assist that flow. You think about it. You put your hands on your back. Basically, the Mingmen point is directly opposite the belly button, right? So either side of the spine, you rub there too and see if there's some pain. Let me know if there's pain. So, I usually use the backs of my thumb and I rub either side of my spine, right? They're adrenal points as well. So if they're sore, you need to keep massaging them. There are different points that give me information to what your adrenals are doing. Now, if you're on a higher, I'll say higher path, not that anyone's better than anyone else, it's just that some people, their vessel, their body is able to hold more light, right? But by doing that, the physical body struggles, the nervous system struggles. It's like more voltage going through the wiring, right? So, core of what I teach, before I even overlaid the energy understanding, I used to teach about nervous system health, how to regulate your system, what to do if you're hyper-aroused, what to do if you're hypo-aroused. It's basically understanding the ins and outs of the nervous system and what you can do for it. Now, if you're on a spiritual path, there's an understanding of that is imperative to know, because you don't want to burn your system out through basically having high voltage coming through if your system isn't able to hold it well. So you've heard me say about keeping your minerals up, because when there's surges of energy going through your system, it's wiping you out. So water, lots of water. If you don't like water, and it's, or if it's cold, so it's cold here, I drink boiled water. I've got 2 cups here. I've got black tea there because I love black tea and I don't care what anybody says. I love it. I'll drink it. But in this cup, I have a few bits of ginger and hot water. But often I just drink plain boiled water. That at least keeps me warm, but it also is really good for your system, warm water. Okay, so drink water. Thanks for reminding me. Oh, I needed that. I actually need that. I'm going to put my black tea away because I need this. So, hoping that you can hear me okay still. Back to the foot for a moment, Kath. You can also press in on those points. You could, if you've got a little stone or something, you could put them on the ground. But what I'm feeling for you is more about, so yes, this is the kidney meridian, links to kidney energy. But what I'm feeling for you is that you're really surging, you're really high energy, and how you are looking after your system now really has to be, I don't want to say, like, you don't have to go overboard with diet and everything, other than minerals, keeping your minerals up, because your minerals will get sapped from your system, and then the nervous system really, really struggles, and you will see it, you'll be hit. Water, because water's hydrates you, but also is a conductor of energy and flushes out anything that you don't need. But I drink so much water because I do so much energy work. Like, I've been doing 3 hours a morning, like solid, and then through the day it's like God knows how many hours I do a day, right, on myself or on other people. So I feel like I'm always dehydrated, but I'm always drinking too. Well, not dehydrated. There's tests for dehydration, by the way. You could pull your hair. So you know how to energy test. So you pull your hair gently and you test. I use my leg, or I can just ask. So no, I'm not dehydrated. Bit of trivia for you. I really want to show you what to do, Kath, but I really don't want to stand up. I will. I'm just being lazy. I'll show you in a moment. Let me see. I'll have to move my table and everything, though. That's all. Okay. I've got this massage table. I'm going to have to move everything. This is for you, Kath. Okay, so on your back, here's your belly button. On your back, you're going to take your thumbs and you're going to rub. Okay, that's either side of the spine. It's for the Mingmen point, but also for the adrenal points. For the kidney, you're going to have flat hands and you're doing this. Okay, really fast, like this. Okay, then you bring it down to your butt and you rub your butt. And then you bring it round to the front, okay? But if you just do those back points, I thought I turned that heater off, but I turned it up. I was wondering why I was getting so hot. So that was really quick, but what I'll do is send you that information. I'll talk to you about it because, yeah, I'm looking at my face. I'm like, why am I so red? Because the heater's up full ball. It's just sitting there. I thought I turned it off, but I actually turned it up. So now I'm really hot. Okay. Okay, yep, no worries. You can also rub your hands and just place them on the kidneys, on, you know, wherever it's pain, okay? And you're a great energy worker, so you can do this. Now, the thing with that type of kidney pain, I will disclose something. My teacher and myself, when we went through this particular stage, there was really not a lot I could do to move the pain that I had. I was actually in France and I had an activation. I was actually with the Black Madonna. I think I've talked about this story before. And I was standing in front of the one of the Black Madonnas, the one in Chartres Cathedral, for 5 hours straight painting her. I was standing right in front of her. So the energy that I received being with her for 5 hours in commune, basically, painting and talking to her. When I left, I had such pain in my kidneys and it lasted days. And the people that were with me were really worried about me, but I still soldiered on because I knew what it was. It's part of the activation. My teacher had a similar thing, and she was climbing Mount Shasta or walking Mount Shasta and had the same pain when she was at the same level of activation. So anyway, I won't go into the stories, but it's knowing where you're at, there's particular activations. So you just need to give it a bit of love and know that it's part of the move through. It's all cryptic, isn't it? I will send you more information, and I'll actually talk to you more about it during the week. Give you some exercises and whatnot that will help. But that kidney one, and just holding it. Selenite, I haven't tried selenite on the kidneys, but I've tried it on pretty much everything else. I swear by this for pain. So, you know, I think if that happened to me now, I would probably stick a piece of selenite in my top or even lie, you know, put it there and lie in my bed and just see how you go if you've got some, you know, something flat, because it's nice and cool as well. Yeah, I haven't tried that, but every other pain that I've had, or, you know, with electrics as well, the electrical system. So doesn't sound, I'll talk to you about this as well, but, you know, the electrics, and just see whether you need some help with the electrics, which, you know, it's part of the nervous system as well, because you can place selenite on the main electrics point, which is where the spine meets the back of the head. Hi, Diane. Welcome. So you could do that as well and just see whether that helps the kidney pain. But yes, life force energy, a lot going on. So that's in a nutshell. So let me know if you need any more, but I will get onto that. Thanks for letting me know, because it's really important that I, if we're working together at the level we are, that I know these things too, so that I can, guide you and share, what I and my teachers have done, and those sorts of things. So yeah, and that is exactly what we were talking about in regards to, let's put this back in now, being the director of your life, right? When that GPS is working for my benefit or for your benefit, for clarity, we're getting clarity, you see. There's no confusion. We have discernment. The direction's clear, or much more clear than in the past, because we get clarity from here. These things, we can't be thinking them through. You can think and think and think and ruminate and ponder and go over and over and over this stuff, and you will be as clear as when you started. So there's something in my eye, speaking of clarity. You can't think your way out of these things, okay? You need to be transformed. So would you like that? I think everybody would like more clarity, more direction. And let's see what's going on. You got any other? No more questions. Okay. So the energy is really subtle. And it happens, this change or this transformation, by getting into another energy space where our perception, the lens through which we perceive, look at our GPS or our telescope, like, we're looking around. We have clarity. It's even the tones are clear. It's even clearer than this. It's just such clarity. I mean, when you get to the ajna or the third eye, there is a collapse of space-time. So it is completely different to everything else. Everything changes because there's a full collapse of space-time. Hence, those that come work with me know I have no comprehension of time or space. It's like, we just are, right? We just are. I don't apologize for it either. Okay? So, the direction is clear. And, I have a lot of people in the past saying, hey, Jonathan, Groucho, is that your nickname? Welcome. Nice to have you. You haven't been here before that I've seen anyway. So nice to have you here. All right, so let's get through this, and then I want to actually get you, because we've got a handful of people on now. And we'll go through and you can feel some of these points and just feel it in your own body, and then you can tell me and then we'll correct it. Okay, it won't take very long at all, and it's something you could do for yourself whenever you need it. All right, but it is related to pineal, pituitary, hypothalamus, which are these higher parts of the triangle that I've been talking about all this time. Okay, you know, it's not difficult. What is difficult is not having intuition. So people say, you know, it isn't magically going to happen for you. It is not magically going to happen for you by tomorrow. Over your lifetime, yeah, maybe. If you're graced by the hand, yeah, maybe. But if you were listening before, you heard me say how many hours that I have done in the last few days. I wake up, I don't even count it because it's just my life. When I wake up, I don't get out of bed. I view for God knows how many hours. I might wake up at 5 o'clock, and by the time I actually get out of bed, you know, hours and hours have gone past. And I have traveled and explored and practiced what this new day brings for me. What am I able to do today that I wasn't able to do yesterday? What does it look like now? Right? I'm curious. I'm always looking and going, oh, what's behind there? Or what about if I look just slightly downwards or upwards? Or what's that feeling trying to tell me? What's happening when my nose feels like it's, you know, spinning off, trying to spin off my head, or something like that? You know, bizarre things can happen. You know, what's happening with that spin? You know, is it spinning clockwise, counterclockwise? Like, we're curious. It's curiosity. I'm always just curious about everything. It's like, what's going on now? What's that? Okay. It just is. But, you know, I'm not full on analyzing everything. I'm just like, okay. You know? So what's difficult is actually not having intuition, because when you have the type of intuition I'm talking about, you have clarity, you have direction, you know why you're here and what you're supposed to be doing. When you have a lack of intuition, you don't have a sense of who you are or why you're here, and making decisions are really difficult. So if you tell me the practices are difficult, you know what I'm going to say, because your life is difficult if you're not accessing your full potential. Your life will be more difficult. That's what I'm going to say to you. Do it or not do it, neither here nor there to me. Okay? But if you have more vitality and wellness and health and illumination in your life, you won't know yourself, you know? And even on that trajectory, on your way, you will look to your past life, your old life from a few years ago, and go, man, that was hard in comparison to where you are now. Even though you might find difficulties or constrictions in regards to where you're at, like Kath's saying, she's got pains in her kidneys, but ultimately I know that she has very high intuitive abilities, and she has much more clarity than majority of people in her life, right? Does she have ups and downs? Probably, yeah. But does she move through them really quickly because of this fact? Yes. Yes, she does. Okay? So, yeah. So on a basic level, it's just the pituitary gland. And on an energetic level, it's the vortex between the brow. So let's do a little, I'll just check if there's any questions that have come in. No questions. Let me just check on my phone, because no questions. Did I miss any from before? I don't think so. Okay, so if there's no questions, those that would like to do this with me, feel free. If not, this will be on the replay. I still look really red, don't I? It's really hot in here. Which is nice because it was really, really cold. So I put the heater on, and now it's a small room, so it gets hot really quick. All right, so what we're going to do is there's points. If you've got any questions or want to know about anything, please put them in. You know that I just mystically muse about things and share information while I wait for questions, right? So rather than just sit here twiddling my thumbs. So please ask, and I will see them and come back to them. Okay, so we have at the hairline, we have the liver neurovasculars, which metabolize all hormones, right? And then at the, well, let's see, pardon me, at the base of the back of the head, so I'll do the top of the head first. So the top of the head is the pineal gland, which relates to the heart meridian and lots of other meridians. So it's right at the top of the head. Where the head curves at the back of the head is the pituitary gland, which links to the spleen meridian, which is metabolism, external and internal, and lots of other things. But I always think of the spleen meridian linked in with metabolism, how we metabolize our life and our experiences, but also how we metabolize our food and our fluids and whatnot. And the hypothalamus is, it's at the back of the head in line with the third eye. So if the pituitary, I might have to, or maybe I could draw it. Draw you a picture. Bear with me while I create something magical. I'll rub off the foot. Okay, so draw a head, let me see, and a bit of a nose, bit of a mouth, bit of a chin, and a neck. Interesting looking person. Okay, so we've got point here, point here, point here, and point here. Look, there we go. Can you see that? Look, everything's back to front, upside down and back to front. So, let me write what they are. I'll do it in a different color. Do it in red. So we've got the liver. We've got the spleen. So that's wrong. Heart, spleen, and triple warmer. Nearly forgot about triple warmer. So triple warmer is hypothalamus, hypo. Spleen is pituitary. Bear with me, people. Pineal, because this is really cool. It will be helpful for you, for your health. And liver is just liver neurovascular. All right. Well, I think we're cert. Okay. There we go. Okay. Hopefully it's not back to front for you. So, can you see that the hypothalamus point is in direct opposition to where the brow would be? So the liver is actually higher. Let me full on correct that. You don't have to know exactly, but so it's at the actual hairline, so it's actually higher. So there you go. This is more anatomically correct. Okay, so the liver points are at the hairline. Now, if you don't have a hairline, it's where your hairline used to be. Okay, so if you happen to shave your head or have lost your hair or whatever, it's where your hairline would have been. Okay. All right. And I've added on in the middle is the meridians that they relate to, but we're not going to go into that. It's not a full-on lesson. I just want to share an experience with you. Or maybe I'll hold it up. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to get a 3-point, so 2 fingers and your thumb, 2 fingers and your thumb, and we can self-test these by feeling into it. So those that don't want to do it, you can think of some questions to ask me. This will take maybe, we'll go through it fast, but maybe 5 minutes. So bear with it if it's not your thing, but you won't know if it's not your thing if you don't try it, will you? So what I want you to do is basically take a breath, take one of your 3 finger notches, pardon me, and put it on the top of your head, which is the pineal, and links to the heart neurovascular point. And it's directly above the pineal gland. Okay, these are master glands. So this is on a physical, physiological, you know, we're working the hormones here. And we're going to be able to feel this, but energetically, it's doing a whole bunch of other things, right? And then we're going to take the other 3 finger notch, and we're going to place it at the turn of the head. So it's that first turn. So I'm going to show you the picture so you don't get confused. So you're going to put 3 finger notch on the top of the head and a 3 finger notch at this one. Pituitary, okay? So I'm going to put it there. So you make a 3 finger notch with one hand and place it on the top center, and then your other, you make a 3 finger notch and place it at the turn at the pituitary gland point. Okay, so we're doing that, doesn't matter what hand. And then what you do is you go inwards, so close your eyes and feel. Okay, does this make you feel balanced, or does it make you feel less balanced? So does it feel nice, or does it feel nothing much at all? Or does it actually make you feel a bit like, oh, there's something going on in my head, or, you know, you have some other sensation? Okay, just make a note of it. It'll happen really quickly. So if less balanced, your pituitary gland, which affects all other glands, including your thyroid, okay, as well as your ovaries and the production of estrogen and progesterone, may be energetically imbalanced. So if you're feeling a bit like on this one, make a note of it, because I'm going to give you the correction, how to correct it in a moment. So keep your fingers at the top of the head, and then bring the other fingers to the back. So I'm going to show you. So keep your finger at the top of the head and bring your other ones to the hypothalamus one. And do the same thing. Turn inwards and just see whether you feel a bit blur or whether it's nothing. It's an indication that, okay, so we're here. So we're just dropping our fingers a little bit further back. And you just turn inwards. You don't have to close your eyes, but it helps. And you just go, what's that feel like? Or am I feeling that on the top or at the back? Am I feeling a bit woozy? Or am I feeling fine or feeling nothing at all? Okay. Just pay attention. Because if your hypothalamus, which communicates with your pituitary, to affect all other glands in your body, including your adrenals, as well as the cortisol and testosterone production, right? If this one's off, then maybe energetically imbalanced, and I'll give you the correction in a moment for this one. So keep your fingers at the top of the head again, and we're going to bring them around, remember, to the hairline. So wherever your hairline is, we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to turn inwardly. So you can do this longer for yourself. I'm doing it a bit quicker because I don't want to bore the people that aren't interested in this, okay? But it's power-filled. It is power-filled because you're hitting all your major energetic brain points, but also, you know, for your metabolism and for your hormones and for your blood and that flow through the head, which gives you vitality and wellness. So it doesn't matter whether you're male or female. Okay, so we're at this one and we're going to do the same thing. We're turning inwards. Do you feel any sensations in particular for these ones? And this is your liver. So the liver, which is integral in the production of hormones and your metabolism of those hormones, which we mentioned before, toxins and medications may be energetically imbalanced. So, so make a note of what they are, but I'm going to give you the correction for all of them. It's really easy because the correction's the same for all of them, right? So what you do, you just take one hand, palm, put it to the liver point, fingers, put it to the top of the head point, palm, fingers, back of the head. So we're hitting those 4 points. So let me just show you. Okay. Any questions, type them in, but we can sit. You know, this is one of the holds that I do when I'm going to sleep. I do my hormones and my hypothalamus, pituitary and pineal. Just give them a bit of love. So if you do it regularly, it just helps the flow. But if it's one in particular, it's like if it's just the front ones, you can, you know, just hold them. You do it like that even. So let me know if you had any sensations. You don't necessarily have to tell me what ones or how it was, but that's basically it. So it's the triple axis points, right? Triple axis points. You can do a crown pull before you do it, which is like just spreading the energy, and then basically doing the holds of the neurovascular points. So then the hormones move through the bloodstream, through the neurovasculars, and influence the blood flow, right? Ta-da! Perfect health for everybody, perfect hormones for everybody, perfect love and attention to your pineal and your pituitary glands. Now, it's not what I would call, see, I've written topic pineal and pituitary work. I did have activation, but it's not necessarily an activation, okay? If you would like to know about pineal activation or those head point activations or high activations of any type, let me know. You know, you can work with me in a one-to-one session or just as a consult, send me a message. If you would like to build your energies, just checking that there's no questions. If you would like to build your subtle energy systems to be able to hold more. So when we activate or when we have these experiences, whether it's through going to sacred sites, you know, being around high vibe people, doing particular yoga or meditation or whatnot, what happens is you come out of that, or even some of the like ayahuasca, DMT, all of that, you can only hold it to the point that your system can hold it. So it's about building or taking your energy, your energetic system to the gym, so that when you get these surges of activations, you can hold it. And the more that you can hold a frequency, the more you integrate it and you can keep it at that. So, you know, Kath's talking about kidney meridian or kidney pain. It's partly to do with that. There's a lot of surges of, you know, electricity basically surging through your electrics, your body's electric system, and that needs to be acknowledged, identified, and I was going to say cared for. Well, it is cared for, but you know, we're just aware of that. So rather than pushing through on some things, you just go, okay, I've got this going on. I'm just going to be a little bit more mindful of what's changing in my system energetically and physiologically, so that I don't blow my fuses, you know? So the thing is that we know how to do